náà máa ń pè kan onífàlọ́mọ ìfàlọ́mọ ló túmọ̀ sí tàn bá bímọ tuntun ló máa jẹ́ káwọn ọmọ àlè sọ́mọ wọn kọ́ wọn á bòmí sóòrù omi bá ti ń kán wọn á gbọ́mọ sí mẹ́yìn omi yẹn máa kán lé wọn ní kíyà sáré wọlé jáde lẹ́ẹ̀méje bójọ́mọ̀ kọ́ bó bá sì jẹ̀ta lé àṣírí máa tú civilization ló jágbá gbogbo tàdá ìbá. Ọ̀làjúdé ọ̀làjúdé làwa gbàgbé àṣà ìdílé wa ọ̀làjúdé làwa gbàgbé àṣà ìdílé wa civilization ló jágbá gbogbo tàdá ìbá. Nínú àṣà ìdílé wọn tún máa ń ṣe kan fáyà tuntun.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to today's episode of your favorite program, Pacesetter Heritage on Aloore Radio, the radio station of Oyo State and Oyo State Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, Ibadan, Nigeria. Today we are going to be discussing about our mother tongue, as every 21st February is billed for Mother Tongue. It is Mother Tongue Day. And I have my guest in the house who get to hear him talk about mother tongue later in the course of this program. And you can be with us on this program on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Aloore Radio, and on YouTube. You can join us on Aloore Radio, as well as on websites. We are on www.alooreradio.com. And you can be part of this program by calling our mobile number on 090-398-53731. Today I'm not here alone. I have my producer in the house, Deji Olawoyi, and I have as well some of the people that is with our guest on the program. I have Mayo Wafagebo also in the house, is a colleague in the studio, and the people that followed my guest today, I have Yemi Adejuwon, Mrs. Muradeke Ajibade, Jibril Ajibade, and Kayat Ajibade. They are all in the studio, and my guest is here with me as well. My name is Titila Lawal. Together we have a nice time on the program this week. And I know you are going to learn a lot on the program for this week. Just sit back, relax, and let's get together.
Látòrí lọ títí lọ dẹ́sẹ̀ ìyàwó láì bọ́ṣọ wá nítorí kó má bà níṣòro nílé ọkọ civilization ló jágbá gbogbo tàdá ìfà. Ọ̀làjúdé làwa gbàgbé àṣà.
Ẹ kú dédé àsìkò yìí ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa, ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò yín ètò ẹwà iyebíye ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ lórí Aloore Radio tó fìkàlẹ̀ sí iléeṣẹ́ ìròyìn àṣà àti ìrìn àjò afẹ́. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìṣe wa, mo ti lálejò pàtàkì níbí, ṣùgbọ́n lónìí a máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa èdè abínibí. Gbogbo ọjọ́ kọkànlélógún oṣù kejì tá a wà nínú èyí ni a máa ń ṣe àyájọ́ ọdún èdè abínibí. Torí ẹ̀ ni mo ṣe gbé àlejò mi wá, ṣùgbọ́n láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà ẹ máa gbọ́ ohun tí àlejò wa ní bá wa sọ nípa èdè abínibí. Èmi nìkan wá kọ́ ni mo wá sórí ètò gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìṣe mi ní gbogbo ọjọ́ mẹ́jọ. Mo ní Deji Olawoyi tí ó máa bá wa gbé sókè gbé sílẹ̀. Bákan náà ni Mayo Afagebo náà wà nínú kòlùtà wa yìí. Àlejò mi náà wọn ò dá wá, wọ́n wá pẹ̀lú àwọn èèyàn wa. A ní arábìnrin Muradeke Ajibade nínú kòlùtà wa yìí. Bákan náà ni arákùnrin Yemi Adejuwon àti Jibril àti Giyaf Ajibade. Gbogbo wa náà ni àjọ máa mítò wa lọ́sàn-án ní ẹ̀yin ẹ̀wọ̀n nǹkan lédè láti máa bá wa ká lọ lórí ètò lọ́sẹ̀ yìí. Ẹ rí ẹ̀kọ́ oríṣiríṣi kọ́ nípa mímú èdè abínibí wa lò. Ẹ kú kalẹ̀.
Àlólù náà fi ń lu ṣọ́ngbà kan. Ká tó máa lo pressing iron òun. Ká tó máa lo pressing iron òun. Ògùṣọ̀ náà fi ń kó nọ́ngbà kan.
My guest on the program this week is Oloye Akeem Ajibade. Is Balogun Ajibade of Onidere in Ido local government area of Oyo State, and is a bilingual author and publisher. Is the chairman, CEO, Punlaj Publisher Ibadan, and national chairman, Association of Independent Publishers of Nigeria, AIPN. He's also the chairman of Ibadan City of Egbe Akomolede Ati Asha Yoruba of Nigeria, and the former vice chairman, Association of Nigerian Authors, Oyo State chapter. He's also the national social secretary, Egbe Onkowe Yoruba. And with this, I welcome my guest today, Oloye Ajibade. Welcome on the program.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
We know that every 21st February is our Mother Tongue Day.
Yes.
We want our people to know why this day is set aside for people to know about our mother tongue and the uses for our mother tongue, and why is this day set aside for people?
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Every 21st of February is set aside by UNESCO, an international organization, for us to celebrate our mother language, which in other words we call mother tongue. And it was set aside in 1999. Since 1999, we have been celebrating it. It is set aside because there's a need for us to develop, to elevate, and to celebrate what God has given us. Of course, we have throughout the world over 50 languages that have gone into extinction in order to stem the storm, to still the storm as it were. There's a need for us to arouse the consciousness in us and pay attention to that aspect of our culture, to that aspect of our existence, to that is used to, that has something that has a very that differentiates us from others in the world, and that is language. In this part of the world, God does not make a mistake in the creation and in anything He has done, He has created. In this part of the world, He decided to give us Yoruba because He knows that is what fits us. In the other part, He gives them according to how He wishes. The onus now lies on us not to be a bastard, not to jettison what God has given us, but to celebrate it, to expand it, to pass it from one generation to the other, so that their culture, our language should not die. Because when a language dies, the culture of that particular group of people in a given society dies with it. And when that happens, what we are saying is we are degrading the essence of creation of those set of people that allow the language given by God to die.
Because our culture is a totality of man's existence.
Exactly. We are the culture, and culture is in us. We are in culture. Culture is in us. That is what distinguishes. Of course, when you say Yoruba man, you know this is a Yoruba man. When you say an Hausa person, you know this is an Hausa person. What makes you know? The first impression is the outlook, maybe the dressing, and when that person opens his or her mouth to talk, you understand. Even when that this person belongs to this group of people. Of course, even when you speak English, that tone, the way a Yoruba man speaks English should be different from the way an Hausa man speaks, and which on its own should be exclusively different from the way an Igbo man is going to present his own expressions in foreign language.
But these days, our people, our younger generation thinks our culture is very cheap and ordinary to them, because they don't really value it, they don't cherish it as we, the older generations, cherish our culture. What do you have to say to this?
I do not agree that the younger generations
Majority of
do
them,
not
because
cherish our language.
in
I
homes, we don't speak Yoruba to our children.
Is that their fault?
Anymore.
It is not their fault. It isn't their fault. So we can't put that blame on their doorsteps. No, it's not right. Because no child is born and begins to speak foreign language. The child speaks the language he hears the mother and the father speaks at home. That is it. the child respond to what happens within his or her immediate environment. That means the environment and the home especially is the first teacher of a child. So if a child begins to speak in English, you don't blame that child. You go home and go to that child's home and blame the parent. That is where we should put the blame. It is if a child does not give adequate recognition or does not value the language, his or her own mother tongue, you don't blame that child. It is the mother or father, the parent or that child that say, okay, my child, this language is not important. That foreign language is more important than mine. So hold that language. That is why that child is holding on to that language. So you don't blame the child.
All those traders at the markets, they don't want to speak Yoruba to their children as well. They say, Master Yoruba, some of me don't speak vernacular. How do we want to
it is not their
so
fault.
that we'll still know that this is our own, we value it.
It is the fault of the so-called elite, those who thought they have acquired Western education, those who think they are civilized, those who believe so much in modernity, who don't even understand what that modernity means. They don't know the concept, the component of civilization is obscure to them, completely obscure to them. You know, they think that once you don't speak your language, you speak English, you are civilized. You are in a modern society, you belong. These are the people you should blame. Right. Take for instance, we are in the secretariat here.
Yes.
If you bring your children around here and your partner in the office sees the children, what would that person say? How are you? Good morning. That the person begins to speak English. What that person is saying is that, oh, the language, Yoruba language I should speak to you is second-class language. That's that, and the mother will stand there, say, they are fine. Instead of saying, look, don't speak English to my children. The mother will not correct that person, and that person will not even say "ekaro" to the children.
So
that is the problem.
To correct this anomaly, like how do we want to elevate our own language?
How we can elevate our language? We have to beg ourselves.
Because you, as
the grandparents
of Egbe Akomolede,
yes,
and in Yoruba land,
the grandparents, I always say it, the problem starts from home and it has to be corrected at the home front. Those are the markets, don't blame them. They too want to belong. That is the thing. The moment the elite changes, now people at the market will they take caution. They want to tell you that their own children can speak English, they too can speak English. And don't forget, what took them to the market was that maybe when they were writing SSC, they failed English. They now be speaking that subject they failed to their children. You can imagine the kind of standard they will be putting into the head of those children. You see, so we have to go back to from the source, where the problem is, and solve it there. And where is the problem? The problem is in the homes of the so-called elite, the modern parents, the Western, the civilized women. Those who feel that speaking English is all in all. Speaking English makes you civilized. That if your child does not speak English, you are not civilized. If your neighbor speaks English, then your own children are not speaking, you now feel inferior. How do you say your child is inferior? Your children are inferior because they do not speak English compared to to that of your neighbor, those of your neighbor that speaks English. Instead of you to go there and correct them, if they don't listen to you, you leave them to wallop in their pool of ignorance.
But English is our legal franchise.
Sure.
How do we want to do if we say our children should speak Yoruba and not English? How do they want to meet up with the society?
Thank you. If I can meet up with society, every child should be able to meet up with society.
How do you mean, sir?
Thank you very much. I attended public primary school. Up to primary 6, I couldn't speak English, but I could read, I could write, and I never failed English language. I never failed, but I couldn't speak. I never failed. I could write letters,
then why did
but I would be. When I got to secondary school, was a time I was able to speak some lines of English. Now, what did I study in the university? I studied English-related courses. That is how it's good. Let it flow. Let the teachers, give the teachers the opportunity to train children the foreign language in schools. At home, speak Yoruba to them. Children, they have opportunities to learn more than 1 or 2 languages while young.
Okay.
They have that capacity. You know, leave the act of speaking English at home. Even who tells you that you, parent, because you are a graduate of whatever course you study in the university, does not make you a good speaker of English? No. What they do is they succeed at bastardizing, you know, the standard of English of their children. That's what they do, and they don't know. That is why these days students fail English much more than in our days. In our days, it is garbage in, garbage out. What the teacher teaches us in the school is what we are going to send back when exam comes. But now, the reverse is the case. Teacher will teach a subject. That aspect that has been corrected in schools will be destroyed at home permanently. When a child wants to write exams, what will happen? That child will not remember the one that was taught in the classrooms. The person will write, he or she will remember the one which the mother always speak to him at home. Then that is what he's going to write. Then that child will fail.
And that begins
That is the thing. That is the thing. Those of us who couldn't speak, by the time we write, oh God, we write excellently well. We write, and that is that is the utmost, you know. So we have to go back to the scratch. Parents must learn not to speak English to their children at home. Leave the act of writing and speaking English to teachers in school. Teachers are well trained to do that. Let them properly train the children.
All right. You've heard it that language is very, very key in any children's upbringing, and that is why we said our culture is our inheritance and our pride, and it's our legacy, especially the mother tongue. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa, ilé-iṣẹ́ rédíò Aloore náà ni a ti ń kàn sí yín. Ó tí àlejò mi sì ti ń sọ fún yín láti nǹkan bí 30 ìṣẹ́jú sẹ́yìn òun náà ni nípa èdè abínibí wa. Ní ọjọ́ 21 gbogbo oṣù kejì, òun ni a máa ń ṣe àyájọ́ èdè abínibí ní gbogbo àgbáyé. Nítorí náà ni mo ṣe gbé àlejò mi tòní wá fún yín. Àlejò mi náà ni Olóyè Akeem Ajíbádé. Wọ́n jẹ́ Balógun Ajíbádé ti Onídèrè ní ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ Ìdó ní Ọ̀yọ́ State tá wà yìí. Bákan náà náà jẹ́ ẹni tó lè sọ èdè Yorùbá àti èdè Òyìnbó, wọ́n sì fi ń kọ ìwé. Bákan náà náà jẹ́ òǹtẹ̀wé. Wọ́n jẹ́ alákòóso Punlaj Publisher nílùú Ìbàdàn bí. Wọ́n sì jẹ́ alága fún àwọn tó jẹ́ aládàáni nípa à ń tẹ̀wé síta. Bákan náà náà jẹ́ alága fún ẹgbẹ́ akọ́mọlédè àti àṣà ilẹ̀ Yorùbá nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ti ìlú Ìbàdàn bí. Wọ́n sì jẹ́ igbákejì alága fún àwọn tí wọ́n ń kọ ìwé ti ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Wọ́n jẹ́ alákòóso fún nǹkan tó jẹ mọ́ amúlùúdùn fún ẹgbẹ́ òǹkọ̀wé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Pẹ̀lú ilé ni màá tún kí Olóyè Akeem Ajíbádé pé wọ́n káàbọ̀ sórí ètò wa, ètò Ẹwà Iyebíye ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ lórí rédíò Aloore tá a fi kalẹ̀ sí iléeṣẹ́ ìròyìn àṣà àti ìrìnàjò afẹ́. Ẹ káàbọ̀ Olóyè.
Ẹ kúlé o.
Ohun tí ẹ sọ lóyìnbó mo fẹ́ kẹ́ bá wa sọ ní Yorùbá nítorí a ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa èdè abínibí. Kí ló dé tí wọ́n ya ọjọ́ 21 nínú oṣù kejì sọ́tọ̀?